Welcome to the lecture session on composite thermal systems. Composite systems are multi-layered. That means it will have different layers of materials, and these different materials will have unique thermal conductivity, and the thickness of the material will also be different. Apart from this, we are going to assume the contact between these layers as perfect contact. That means we are not going to have any air gap between these materials. The composite systems can be of composite wall or composite cylinder, or it can be a composite sphere. Now let us consider some of the examples where we are going to apply these composite systems. Consider we are having a solar collector. In the case of solar collector, we will be having an absorber plate. This absorber plate has to absorb maximum amount of solar radiation. To absorb maximum amount of solar radiation, we will be using different materials. Let us say this absorber plate is made up of 4 different materials. Material 1, material 2, material 3, material 4. These are all different materials having different thermal conductivities, and they are of different thicknesses. For better heat absorption, we are going for 4 different materials. Now, in the case of a furnace wall, assume that this is the inner area where combustion takes place. Now, the heat that is being produced after combustion, that should not be let out. That means we have to reduce the rate of heat transfer from the combustion chamber to the surrounding, for which we will be providing insulation. Now, let us consider this case. Here we have a metal wall. Followed by that there is an insulation, then you can see a refractory brick, then finally a cladding. So different materials are being used with different thermal conductivity and different thicknesses. These are used to reduce the heat transfer from the furnace to the surrounding. Now let us consider the case of a refrigerator door. The purpose of refrigerator is to maintain temperature less than the surrounding temperature. So when we are maintaining temperature less than the surrounding temperature, from the surrounding or from the outside, which is at a higher temperature, heat will transfer from the surrounding to inside the refrigerator. So now we have to avoid the flow of heat from outside to the inner surface. So it is better to have a material having a less thermal conductivity. So different layers of materials are being used to reduce the heat transfer from the surrounding to the inner chamber of the refrigerator. Coming to the composite cylinder, let me give few examples for composite cylinder. In the case of a industry where we are going to have process heating, in a process plant we will be having many pipelines, and these pipelines, some of the pipelines will be carrying steam. When steam is going to flow through the pipeline, steam is at higher temperature, so heat transfer from the steam to the surrounding has to be prevented. So for which we will be going for insulation of the pipeline. So here you can see inside this pipeline steam is going to flow, and to reduce the rate of heat transfer from the steam to the surrounding, we are providing insulation. So now you can see this is one cylinder and this is another cylinder. So we are having composite cylinder here. Now you consider the case of a solar water heater tank, the tank which is used to store the hot water. So now this is a stainless steel tank. So we want to prevent the heat transfer from the hot water to the surrounding, for which insulation is being provided, and finally this is being covered by a galvanized iron sheet. Different materials are there with different thermal conductivity and different thickness. Now you consider another example. This is a fuel oil storage tank. Assume that we are going to store furnace oil. Furnace oil is highly viscous and it will not flow at low temperature. So to make it to flow, we will be having heating coils. So we will be heating the oil before it is being supplied for combustion. So when we are maintaining oil at a higher temperature, then we have to provide insulation. So different materials are being used as insulators. So these are some of the examples where we are going to have composite cylinder. Let us get into composite sphere. Consider a cryogenic tank. This is a spherical tank which is going to store liquids at very less temperature, something around minus 150 degrees. Temperature less than minus 150 degrees, we call it as cryogenic. Especially for space applications, we used to carry liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen. These liquids will be stored at very low temperature. So we want to avoid heat transfer from the surrounding to the liquid, for which insulation is provided, and the heat transfer with reference to the spherical coordinate we have to consider. You consider the case of a LNG carrier which is carrying liquefied natural gas in a ship. So the tanks which are used to store the LNG are spherical in shape. All these examples are with reference to the composite. Now let us get into the thermal analysis part. For determining the rate of heat transfer, we will be using the electrical analogy concept, where rate of heat transfer is delta T upon resistance. Now let us consider a simple plane wall. This plane wall is of thickness L and with a cross-sectional area AC with a thermal conductivity K. The plane wall is maintained at temperature T1, whereas the outer surface is maintained at temperature T2. The temperature T1 is greater than T2. Now heat transfer is going to occur from higher temperature to lower temperature. through this solid object. For this case, this temperature is higher temperature whereas this temperature is lower temperature because this material offers some resistance. That is why there is a fall in temperature. That resistance we call it as conductive resistance. Here it is the mode of heat transfer is by conduction. Therefore, the resistance is conductive resistance here. How to calculate this resistance? The conductive resistance is given as L by Ka. And if you want to determine the rate of heat transfer Q, then this Q is delta T by R. Delta T is the overall temperature difference and R is the conductive resistance. So here temperature difference is T1 minus T2 divided by the resistance for plane wall is L by Ka. Conductive resistance for plane wall is L by Ka. Now let us consider a composite wall. In the case of composite wall, we are going to have more than one material. Let us say this is wall 1 and this is wall 2. The thickness of the wall 1 is L1 and thickness of wall 2 is L2. The thermal conductivity of wall 1 is K1 and thermal conductivity of wall 2 is K2. Now the temperature at this surface is T1 and the intermediate temperature where we are going to have the contact between the two walls, this temperature is T2. And the outer surface is T3 and the cross-sectional area is same. Now heat is going to be conducted through the wall 1 and wall 2. So we are going to experience conductive resistance R1 and conductive resistance R2. R1 is the conductive resistance offered by wall 1. R2 is the conductive resistance offered by wall 2. I want to calculate the total resistance. Then total resistance is sum of the resistances offered by wall 1 and wall 2. So rate of heat transfer is overall temperature difference divided by sum of the total conductive resistances. And if you know temperature T1 and if you know temperature T3, you don't know the temperature T2. We want to calculate T2. If that is the case, the heat transfer that we are considering here is 1D steady state conduction. For 1D steady state conduction, the rate of heat transfer Q is constant. So if Q is constant, we can determine the temperature T2, intermediate temperature T2, provided if you know T1 and Q is known. I am considering only this wall 2. The temperature across this wall 2 is T2 and T3 and the corresponding resistance is R2. R2 is L2 by K2 AC. By knowing all other parameters, by knowing the value of Q, thickness of wall 2, thermal conductivity of wall 2, cross-sectional area and temperature T3, you can calculate the value of T2. Similarly, you can, let us say if you know the value of T1 and by knowing the value of T1, if you want to calculate the value of intermediate temperature T2, then you can use this expression. In this case, the resistance offered by the wall 1 has to be considered. Now coming to the different types of thermal resistances. Till now we have discussed only the resistance offered by conduction. So when we say thermal resistance, then it can be by conduction, it can be by convection or it can be by radiation. These resistances can be either in series or in parallel. Now let us discuss if the resistances are in series, how to calculate, and if the resistances are in parallel, how to determine the equivalent resistance. Consider this case. There are three different materials and each material offers resistance. Let us say the resistance offered by material 1 is R1, resistance offered by material 2 is R2, resistance offered by material 3 is R3. Now the total resistance is sum of the resistances R1 plus R2 plus R3 because all the resistances are in series. Suppose if the resistances are in parallel, now you consider this case. Here the surface is at temperature T1, this surface is at temperature T2, whereas here we are having two different materials and the materials are in parallel and the resistance offered by material 1 is R1, resistance offered by material 2 is R2. Under such condition, we have to determine the equivalence resistance. Equivalent resistance is 1 by R12 equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. This we know from our basic electrical engineering. So now we know how to determine the equivalent resistance if the resistances are arranged in series or if the resistances are arranged in parallel. Till now we have discussed only the resistance by conduction. To determine the resistance by convection, let us go back to the Newton's law of cooling. From Newton's law of cooling, we know that rate of heat transfer by convection is given as Q equal to HA delta T. This expression, if you write in electrical analogy form, then it will appear like this. Q equal to delta T divided by 1 by HAS, where AS is the surface area and H is the convective heat transfer coefficient. Now this is temperature difference and this denominator represents the convective resistance. So convective resistance is 1 by HAS. Now let us come to the thermal resistance network for composite system. Now let us consider a plane wall and this plane wall is going to have both conductive resistance and convective resistance. For such cases, now this plane wall, one surface is maintained at temperature T1, other surface is maintained at temperature T2, thickness is L, its thermal conductivity is K, its cross-sectional area is AC and heat is going to be conducted along this, and from this surface it is going to be convected out with a convective heat transfer coefficient of H, and the surrounding temperature is maintained at a temperature T infinity. So T1 is greater than T2. For this case, how to determine the thermal resistance? So thermal resistance here is by conduction as well as by convection. Therefore, the rate of heat transfer for this case is going to be total temperature difference T1 to T infinity and divided by total resistance offered. This is conductive resistance and this is convective resistance. Now let us consider a composite wall having two different material. This is material 1, this is material 2. The surface of this material 1 is maintained at temperature T1. The intermediate temperature is T2. Outer surface of material 2 is maintained at temperature T3. Surrounding is at temperature T infinity 2. Whereas here this surrounding is maintained at temperature T infinity 1. So overall temperature difference is T infinity 1 minus T infinity 2. So T infinity 1 is higher temperature, followed by T1, then followed by T2, then T3, then T infinity. So now here we are having two conductive resistances R1 and R2, two convective resistances from the inner surface and the other from the outer surface. Here you can see this is the convective resistance offered by the inner surface, this is the convective resistance offered by outer surface, whereas these two are the conductive resistance for the two materials. So the total resistance is represented here. If you want to determine the rate of heat transfer, then total temperature difference we have to consider, and the resistances between these two temperatures has to be considered. Now let us say if you are going to consider the temperature T infinity 1 and T infinity 2, two extreme temperatures, then all the resistances have to be considered. Convective resistance 1, convective resistance 2, conductive resistance 1, conductive resistance 2. After determining this, if you want to determine the intermediate temperatures, let us say you want to calculate temperature T1 or T2 or T3. Then let us say I want to calculate T3. I know temperature T infinity 1. I want to determine this surface temperature, which is unknown. Then between T infinity 1 to T3, what are the resistances are involved? Resistances are inner convective resistance, conductive resistance of material 1, conductive resistance of material 2. By equating this, we can determine the value of T3 because the value of Q is already we have determined from this. Similarly, if you are going to consider temperature limits from T infinity 1 to T2, then within this range, what are the resistances are there? The convective resistance of the inner surface and conductive resistance of material 1. So if you want to calculate rate of heat transfer, whatever temperature range we are considering, the corresponding resistances only has to be considered. Similarly, if you want to consider the temperature T infinity 1 to T1, then only convective resistance has to be considered. Equations are used to determine the intermediate temperatures. So this equation is used to determine temperature T1 provided T infinity is known. This is used to determine temperature T2 provided T infinity is known and Q is known. So like this, we can equate the heat transfer equation to determine the intermediate temperature. Coming to the composite cylinder, now let us consider a composite cylinder. There are three cylinders in this. This is inner cylinder, intermediate cylinder and outer cylinder. Okay. So this diagram shows you the inner radius of the inner cylinder is R1, outer radius of the inner cylinder is R2, which is equal to the inner radius of the second cylinder. So second cylinder inner radius is equal to the outer radius of the inner cylinder. Like this, we have radius R1, R2, R3 and R4, and we are having perfect contact between these two surfaces. And the thermal conductivities of the cylinder 1, cylinder 2, cylinder 3 are K1, K2, K3. And inside this pipe or cylinder, some hot medium is flowing, which is at temperature T infinity 1, and the convective heat transfer coefficient from this fluid to the inner surface of the inner cylinder, the convective heat transfer coefficient is H1. Finally, from the outer surface of the outer cylinder, heat has to be convected to the surrounding. Surrounding is at temperature T infinity 2, and the convective heat transfer coefficient is H2. For this case, now how many resistances are involved? Convective resistance for the inner surface, then conductive resistance 1, conductive resistance 2, conductive resistance 3, and finally outer convective resistance. So this is the resistance network. So total resistance is given here. R1, R2, R3 are conductive resistances. R convective 1 is the inner convective resistance. R convective 2 is the outer convective resistance. So the total resistance is given here. Conductive resistance for a cylinder is 1 by 2 pi KL ln of R2 by R1. This is for the intermediate pipe, and this is for the outer pipe. So if you want to calculate the rate of heat transfer, then it is overall temperature difference divided by sum of the resistances. Overall temperature difference is T infinity 1 minus T infinity 2 divided by convective resistance. This is conductive resistance for the inner. This is intermediate conductive resistance. This is outer pipe conductive resistance, and finally outer convective resistance. To determine the intermediate temperatures, we can equate the rate of heat transfer and the corresponding temperature. Let us say if you want to calculate T3, then the resistances from T infinity 1 to T3 has to be considered. Coming to composite sphere, here also let us say we are going to have a composite sphere with 3 different material. So resistances will be inner convective resistance, then 3 conductive resistances, and finally outer convective resistance. The different radiuses are given here, R1, R2, R3, R4, and the inner surface temperature is T infinity 1, outer surface temperature is T infinity naught, and the intermediate temperatures are T1, T2, T3, and T4. So total resistance will be 2 convective resistances and 3 conductive resistances. So total resistance is given here. The total resistance for a composite sphere, this is convective resistance for the inner surface. This is convective resistance for the outer surface. The conductive resistance for a sphere is 1 by 4 pi k into 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. This is for the inner, this is the middle, and this is the outer. So the total resistance, in the previous equation we have written 1 by HIA. So surface area of a sphere is 4 pi R square. This is for the inner sphere, therefore we have written Ri. This is for the outer sphere, so surface area is 4 pi R naught square. So coming to the rate of heat transfer, considering all the resistances, we have to consider overall temperature difference, which is T infinity 1 minus T infinity 2. To determine the intermediate temperatures, let us say you want to calculate the outer surface temperature of the outer cylinder, let us say, which is T4. Then we should not consider the convective resistance from the outer surface to the surrounding. So neglecting the convective resistance, outer convective resistance, these are the resistances involved. So using this, we can find T4 provided if you know the rate of heat transfer and T infinity 1. Our next lecture is an important lecture. That lecture is about critical radius of insulation, which also comes under 1D conduction without internal heat generation. Let us meet in the next lecture. Thank you.